Gosh, it's so hard to watch. That was the heart-wrenching footage from the moment law enforcement in Uvalde finally shot and killed 18-year-old Salvador Ramos after his rampage in Robb Elementary School left 21 dead, including 19 students and 2 teachers. If you look at the bottom right of your screen, you will see one of the officers is crying and being held back by the other officers. That is Sheriff's Deputy Felix Rubio, whose 10-year-old daughter, Lexi, was inside that classroom. She was one of the ones killed in the massacre. This surveillance footage, which was leaked yesterday by the Austin American-Statesman, has provided more insight into exactly what occurred in the 77 minutes between when the shooter opened fire on that classroom and when police finally killed him. And it has fueled plenty of outrage. Joining me now for more is NewsNation reporter Ali Bradley. She was one of the first on the scene in Uvalde for us when the shooting went down. Ali, I saw you in Uvalde when all of this was happening. I know you've got law enforcement sources in the area. The video is now out. The world has seen it. How is law enforcement in Uvalde reacting tonight?
You know, Brian, in the beginning, they were kind of defending some kind of response. Now we're seeing in that video, it's very different than what was told to us in the beginning, right? We know that there were keys that were supposed to be tried and all of these different things, but law enforcement now watching say it's clear that they messed up, is what they're saying. They're saying you're supposed to run towards the gunfire. You see a couple of officers do that in the very early stages of that video, but as soon as the gunfire is deploying, they retreat, and then they don't go back in to perform any kind of rescue operations for, as you said, 77 minutes. You watch the gunman walk in these early moments of this video so nonchalantly, Brian. And I think it's just interesting too. I mean, we know there's a mental health issue there, but that was the moment that he had just shot his grandmother in the face and then walks in and kind of flips his hair. And just to see that and to know what followed, this video does not get any easier watching this. You know, and I can't imagine for these officers, it's much easier either, but the parents, that is something that, you know, I'm sure is frustrating. And the release of this video, we know, Brian, has been pretty frustrating too.
Yeah, I know parents had mixed feelings about it. Some said that they were happy that it was released, that they wanted people to see it. Others were very, very unhappy that it went public, basically the final moments of their children's lives now for the world to see. We know that it was the Uvalde school police chief who was apparently in command here. Could someone else have taken control and come in there, Ali, and said, wait a minute, we need to go in and we need to go in now?
You know, what my law enforcement sources are telling me, number one of them is an agent that went inside of that building. He said that Chief Arredondo was in there on the other side of that classroom. I cannot confirm that, but that is what he's saying. But I will say this, law enforcement tell me that a sheriff, someone who is in that position, is the top law enforcement individual in the county. So the sheriff can absolutely go in and take over command of a scene, especially if they know something is going wrong. And watching that and watching the uncertainty among those men that are responding, you see them walking back and forth. You literally see one using hand sanitizer at one point. You see a man check his phone. There is so much uncertainty and lack of guidance that it's pretty hard to dismiss that there is something that went wrong here. So all of my law enforcement sources say now, seeing this video, the sheriff should have absolutely went in and taken command. And we know that sheriff's deputies are there inside of that building right now.
Right, it's a good point. It was not just Uvalde school police in there. There were several agencies inside, and none of them were responding fast enough. And you brought up two parts of that video that had people just outraged yesterday. Number one, the officer using the hand sanitizer. I mean, all of this is going down and he goes over and he uses hand sanitizer. Number two was the officer looking at his phone while all of this was happening. Well, there's more to that story that we learned today, and we learned it from State Representative Joe Moody. He tweeted out an explanation for the officer who was on his phone. He said, "To those who have not bothered to read even the news that's been reported in your rush to judgment, he attempted to engage," and he's talking about that officer on the phone, "he attempted to engage what was removed from the building and disarmed, will have much to say about the police response, but no criticism of this officer." So basically he is saying that officer was on his phone communicating with, I believe, his wife, who was inside the school. Is that your understanding, Ali?
That's what reports are showing. That's what people are talking about here. But again, you watch him and just kind of such a nonchalant way. I mean, I don't know. We can armchair quarterback all day, Brian, right? What we would have done, what should have happened here. But at the end of the day, the takeaway here is that the police response wasn't adequate for what was happening. Nobody can deny that. Nobody disagrees with that I've talked to. You run to the gunfire and you don't stop if there are lives in there, that could be at risk. And we learned that there were. And a lot of my law enforcement sources tell me that the only way to move forward here is to basically clean house. You've got to reinstill the faith in their police forces around Uvalde. They're saying they have to bring in all new people. And I said, well, there's nobody to take those jobs. And they're literally saying, Brian, that they would rather not have any staff than have people that won't act, that won't fulfill their oath to protect and serve.
Unbelievable. I can't imagine what they're going through. And now we need accountability. That town needs accountability and the country needs accountability. And we need to figure out why they didn't go in. Ali Bradley, thanks for coming on with us tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.